This program is dedicated to the Ursuline Sisters on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of their arrival in Bruxelles. The first Ursulines arrived in Bruxelles on August 27, 1914. Seated center is Reverend Mother Stanislaus, and to her left, Mother Madeleine, the foundresses of the Ursuline convent. Sister Angeline is on the right side of Mother Stanislaus. Standing is Sister Mary and Mother Teresa. This is Reverend Hainan, who served as parish priest at the time of the sisters' arrival. He, together with Louis Hacco, were instrumental in having the Ursulines come over to Canada. This was the sisters' first dwelling in 1914. Bruxelles as it looked in 1906. The old church was destroyed by fire in 1918, and here a picture shows the new church with the convent in foreground. The Bruxelles band played a big part in the community's history. They were there to welcome the Ursulines to Bruxelles by playing a special version of the Belgian national anthem. Shown here is a picture taken in 1921. Shown here are the uniforms that were worn at the Bruxelles convent. Mr. Leo Lanouette, known as the Man with the Lantern, was one of the many worthy janitors for the Ursulines. This picture is of Reverend Mother Angela, taken in 1932. Reverend Mother Aloysius, again a picture of Mother Stanislaus, Sister Marguerite, Sister Augustine, Sister Angela and Sister Augustine. Mother Angela and Mother Marguerite. Shown here is a picture of St. Alphonse, Manitoba, taken in 1921. In 1932, Sister Teresa of the Ursulines was placed in St. Alphonse to take care of the school and convent. Of interest also is this picture of the Swan Lake College, which operated from 1920 to 1938. This is the Bruxelles Chapel, taken in 1931. This is a picture of the chapel that was inside the old Bruxelles convent. Here's Mother Angela with the grade 11 class, 1937. This picture, taken in 1938, was the first graduating class to have ceremonies at St. Mary's School in Bruxelles. From left to right, we have May Byrne, Apolline Hutley, Jocelyn Jackson, Prudence White, Germaine Depape, Delphine Allard, and Alice Mitchell. (1938) was also the first year that St. Mary's School had a yearbook. Here we have pictures of Sister Juliette. This is Madeleine de Rogier. Sister Stanislaus. Sister Benedict. Sister Paul, and here we have Sister Carol, Sister Julienne, Sister Stanislaus, and Sister Marcella. In 1946, a 50th Jubilee celebration was held in honor of Father Hainan. This is how the church looked inside for that special celebration. A community banquet was held in the parish hall. Shown here are the ladies of the parish that served the meal. Monseigneur Lapointe became parish priest in 1947 and went till 1957. In 1958, Father Duroc took over duties as parish priest. In 1954, Mother Aloysius celebrated her 25th Jubilee. As a gift, she was presented with a brand new desk, of which she was very proud. fire of 1954 was a terrible loss for the community of Bruxelles, as the convent and school were both totally destroyed. Gerard Lanouette received serious injury as a result of burns fighting the fire. A new location was chosen and the turning of the first sod took place June 24, 1954. Site preparation and construction of the new school took place as soon as was possible. Here we have our sisters checking things over. We're not quite sure if they are indeed helping, or if they are simply inspecting. By November of that year, the school was already taking shape. And finally, Archbishop Baudou blesses the new school. Mother Aloysius, Mother Marguerite, and St. Marie's pupils were on hand for the opening. In 1860 saw another change for our Ursulines. They changed from their old habits into a new look. taken in 1961. This is a picture of Sister Joan Adams. take a look at some of the classes of children that occupied St. Marie's School between the years 1958 and 1962.
Must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dream, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. Your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They see the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they fix, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know
ever thought there wouldn't be no Santa Claus? Or look what the stork just brought, thank God for kids. And we'd all live in a quiet house without Big Bird or a Mickey Mouse. Kool-Aid on the couch, thank God for kids. Thank God for kids, there's magic for a while. A special kind of sunshine and a smile. Do you ever stop to think or wonder why? The nearest thing to heaven is a child. Daddy, how does this thing fly? And 100 other wheres and whys. I really don't know, but I try. Thank God for kids. When I look down in those trusting eyes that look to me, I realize there's love that I can't buy. Thank God for kids. Thank God for kids, there's magic for a while. A special kind of sunshine and a smile. Do you ever stop to think or wonder why? The nearest thing to heaven is a child. When you get down on your knees tonight and thank the Lord for his guiding light, pray they turn out right. Thank God for kids. Thank God for kids.
Sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong, sing of good things, not bad, sing of happy, not sad, sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing.
The Ursulines' duties did not include work and no play. The sisters did get some time off for recreation.
Just sing a song.
many occasions when the sisters would join right in with the games with the kids. Students came from great distances to receive their education from the Ursulines. Shown here are just a couple pictures of the Ursulines boarders preparing themselves for their night's rest.
To love someone more dearly every day, to help a wandering child.
In 1964, the sisters celebrated their Golden Jubilee on their arrival in Bruxelles.
And smile when evening falls, and smile when evening falls. This is my task. To follow truth as blind men long for light, to do my best from dawn of day till night, to keep my heart fit for His holy sight. And then my Savior by and by to meet, when faith hath made her task on earth complete, and lay my homage at the Master's feet, within the jasper wall.
To honor the Ursulines on their Golden Jubilee, a special day was arranged in appreciation.
you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
We'll now take a look at some of the staff and class pictures ranging from 1967 right up to 1987. Here are grades 1 and 2 from 1967. Grade 7 and 8 class. Here are the staff from 1969. Grades 1 and 2, 1969. Grades 3 and 4. Grades 5 and 6. Picture of the staff taken in 1972. This is the St. Marie School kindergarten class taken in 1973. Here are grades 1 and 2 taken in 1973. Grades 7 and 8. These are grades 3 and 4 taken in 1974. Here are grades 7 and 8 taken in 1974. Kindergarten class, 1975. Grades 7 and 8 taken in 1975. Five. And again in 1977. Grades 3 and 4. Here are grades 5 and 6. These are grades 7 and 8 from 1976. Here we have the kindergarten class of the same year. This is the kindergarten class again for the year 1977. The grades 3 and 4 class picture of 1979. Here are grades 1, 2, and 3 of 1980. Here are grades 1, 2, and 3 from 1983. Kindergarten class from 1984. 1 and 2. Grades 3 and 4 class. Grades 5 and 6. And grades 7 and 8. And here's our staff from 1985. Grades 1 and 2 from 1985. (1986). And grades 7 and 8 from also 1986. Staff picture. And our staff in 1987. From 1987. And the last picture we have are grade 7 and 8s from 1987. Now, for the last part of our journey, we'll just take a look at some of the more recent photos.
If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels, when I know the time is right for me, I'll cross the stream.
April 24th, 1988, an appreciation day was held to honor the Ursulines for their many years of dedication to the surrounding communities. one more past and present look at Bruxelles, the community where our Ursulines have spent a great part of their lives. might still find a few chairs in the area here. From the visiting and visit with me for a while. That's the way. Do that some more. Thank you very much. A few years ago, I didn't need these, but now you'll have to excuse me, but I'll have to wear them for some of the little notes that I wrote down here. I certainly appreciate the sisters asking me to speak to you on their behalf today. It is an honor for me to address you on their 75th anniversary of their arrival in Bruxelles, and I think for that matter, I guess in Manitoba. Is that right? Am I correct? So on behalf of the sisters, I thank you for your presence here. I thank you for responding to your invitation. Some of you had personal invitations, I'm sure. Some of you had invitations by television, etc., etc. So in responding to your invitations, I'm sure that you will agree that we are here to share in a united tribute of gratitude and recognition to all the dedicated Ursulines who have, in the past and in the present, have served our parish and community since 1914. I'm sure those years are filled with all kinds of memories. I know my list is unlimited. I could probably speak to you till 5 o'clock and all the experiences that I've had with the Ursuline Sisters. I'm sure most of you who are here can say the same thing. It is no secret, of course, that the Ursulines' primary mission was education in the past. Now it's kind of diverting a bit in different areas, but they're still primarily an educative community. But many of us here certainly are aware, being students, and we were certainly aware that their services go way far beyond the education of the children. It goes way far beyond that. There's unlimited services that they have rendered to our community and our parish. We appreciate your sisters. I'm not going to name all of you. I have certainly lots of names I could name here, but to make things shorter, all the sisters, we appreciate your spiritual support, even your physical care that you have given to many, many of the students and boarders here at the school. Mom tells me about that. She told me all the things that have happened physically as well as spiritually in the school. Thank you for your influence on the musical talents that have developed in our area. We're all aware of that. Musical talents have blossomed here because the Ursuline Sisters had a lot to do with it. Thank you for your artistic dedication. There are many artistic sisters in all different kinds of ways. Of course, one in particular we're all aware, of course, is Ignatius, who's our particularly devoted artist in our area and has done so much in that area. So Bruxelles and the Ursulines, of course, have become synonymous. You all know that. Very few people, certainly of the parishioners, will talk of Bruxelles without the topic of the Ursulines coming up somewhere along the line. So one without the other is pretty hard to imagine. One of these days we might have to face that fact that they won't be here with us anymore, at least on a permanent basis. So although our memories in the community and parish service, I'm sure many of us have personal memories. And I'd just like to take 1 minute, certainly, to offer my sincere personal thanks to the support that the sisters have given me throughout my student years at St. Marie, and also as when I was teaching in St. Marie School. Without their support, I think I wouldn't have lasted half the time I was there. So thank you, sisters, for that very, very much. I'm sure many others here have similar appreciation and gratitude. I would now like to call on several people. We'll be calling several people up here. Before starting the list, however, of the people who are going to speak, I have a few letters that I'd like to read to you. And before that, I would like to extend the personal greetings of our bishop, which I attended the Knights of Columbus Convention yesterday in Winnipeg, and our bishop was present at the banquet. He had a very, very hoarse voice. He had, I guess like most of us, he's had the flu lately. And anyway, he regrets that he can't be here today. And he certainly wishes the sisters a most successful day. And his love, of course, and his support is with you. I have a few letters now that I'd like to read. The first one is from Gary Filmon, our Premier. Greetings. It is with great pleasure to extend, it is a very great pleasure to extend greetings to the Ursuline Sisters as they celebrate their 75th anniversary in Manitoba. For 75 years, the sisters have, by their devoted service to others, enhanced and enriched the quality of life for countless Manitobans. Their dedication to duty has earned them respect and admiration in the wider community, which has been influenced by their presence. In serving their fellows, they have serviced their Lord. For the good work that has been done in this province over the last 75 years, the Ursuline Sisters are to be both complimented and commended. Congratulations. Signed, Gary Filmon. The second letter is from the Minister of Urban Affairs, which is Mr. Jerry Duchamp. It gives me great pleasure today to congratulate you on this, your 75th anniversary as the Order of Ursuline Sisters in Manitoba. Your unending dedication and kindness to mankind has been an inspiration to all. May God's blessing be upon you as you continue to serve in the Christian way. With sincere best wishes for an enjoyable event. Signed, Jerry Duchamp. This is a little letter sent by Sister Nadine, which many of you know. Maybe some of you who haven't been here for the last 15 or so years or 20 years maybe didn't know Sister Nadine, but she couldn't be here with us today, and she writes a little note. Dear Sister Mary and sisters, in the spirit of God's love for you all, I am with you this day of celebration. And that says it all, I guess, with spirit of love. Now, so we don't get the hall heated up too much, we'll have to move on. So I would like to call upon first Mr. Henry Bouvier, which is our superintendent and has worked with the sisters for many, many years. We invite you, Henry, to say a few words certainly on our behalf as well as on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Daniel. Sister Mary, sisters, friends. It's not easy. I think I've been here working with the sisters for 15 years. And I think we can honestly say true dedication to the profession of teaching, through their example, there are none comparable to the Ursulines. And for that, sisters, thank you. I think when we look around the hall, going back to 1914 and the number of sisters that we had in the community, I think we had something to be proud of. Great numbers throughout the division. As I was telling Sister Joan a while ago, in our ranks right now in our teaching profession or division, we have 2 sisters left. It is regrettable. I think the sisters did everything they could to ascertain that their ranks would have kept on. I think to them, they have nothing to reproach themselves on that. Sisters, thank you. And whatever your plans may be in the future, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry. Now we'll be kind of taking a little history, going back in time, back to 1914, beginning with one of our senior citizens, and we'll be moving up year by year as we get to 1989. So our first speaker tonight, next to our superintendent, our first historical speaker, so to speak, is Mrs. Alice Simmons, or Mrs. Alice Hackle, née Simmons, rather, excuse me. She was born Simmons. Auntie Alice, in other words. She was here, as maybe some others were. I guess maybe there are a few other people here who were here when the sisters arrived.
sister. The sisters certainly will remember, I guess, Alice Hackle as one of their first students. So, now that is, I'd like to call you up for a few words.
I have to go back to 1914 when four sisters, Mother Stanislaus, Mother Madeleine, Sister Teresa, Sister Amanda, and Marjorie Green, a 12-year-old girl now known as Sister Ignatius, came to Bruxelles. They must have had a big surprise when they saw the little hamlet they had come to. Mr. Arthur Doyon, who was our teacher then, went back to Quebec, and the sisters settled in the house for the time being. I was one of the pupils to attend class in the Little Red Schoolhouse with a sister as teacher, and we soon learned to read, write, and speak English. The sisters had a great impact on the community with the music training they offered, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. We will miss you very much. Life in Bruxelles would not have been the same without the Ursuline Sisters. May I call on Ignatius Green to please say a few words?
Sister Ignatius Green, of course, was one of the first ones here.
I was 12 when I first came here, and I think that I'm now 87. I owe it to the good news, the wonderful climate that we had here. Fresh air, good food, and everything else, because I just escaped all the horrors of the war of 1914. I have very happy memories of Bruxelles all the way through. I did come back a couple of times to teach, but from the past 40-some years I've been in New York, but I wouldn't have missed this for anything. God bless you all.
Isn't that just wonderful to have our pioneers come up here and do as they have all done all along, dedicate themselves. Now, from 1914, we're jumping a little ahead, a little jump, and then I believe it's in the 30s. I don't know exactly when Hubert's began, Hubert Hackle. I don't know when he began his schooling in Bruxelles. However, I got a note here that it was in the 30s that he attended school. So, Hubert, I'd like to call you up here for a few words. He's been a parishioner, of course, of Bruxelles for many years. Now he's presently in Holland.
Oh, I think I can make it. Sisters, fathers, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I have accepted to say a few words on this, your 75th anniversary, on Canadian soil, on what they call the Hill of Bruxelles. To thank all the good sisters for their services and dedication to the parish and surrounding areas, for the Christian principles you tried to instill in us, the older ones, to our children, and to some their grandchildren. I am sure there were many hardships you had to overcome, especially in the first years of your stay here. But not being there in those years, and not remembering a few more, I will reminisce on a few that I have of around 1928. That's when I started school. And on into the 30s. The days they call the good old days. Or were they really that good? When I look around, all I see here is either gray, bald, or colored hair. From those days, you see, now they're changed. the days when we started school, and the sisters all looked alike to us. When we all drank from the same cup that was kept hanging on the pump in between the two buildings. The outhouse in the middle of the yard, which you were in a hurry to leave when it was 20 or 30 below. But there are also good memories. The good cocoa the sisters would make for us on the first Fridays of the month when we came to Mass early in the morning. I remember helping to plant trees around the old schoolyard, on the north side, and also when the porch fence was put up. Hauling wood for the kitchen, piling wood behind the old part of the school. Bringing in quarters of beef from a box just north of the old convent. Flour bags, hauling water out of the basement after a big rain. For about 3 hours. And our first Friday, that was it. We didn't go to Mass that morning. Because we got there and the little ditch had just blocked up in front and it went right down the stairs. There was about 3-4 inches of water in the convent. But those were also the days when there were vocations to the sisterhood and priesthood. The sisters showed us how to pray while working. I remember one little incident, even a little mouse made us think of God. There was a little mouse on the loose in the kitchen. So the sisters called a couple of boys to try to catch it. It started to run in all directions, trying to hide under anything it could find. It stopped momentarily under one of the sisters. And all we heard was, "My God, for the love of the Lord." But we finally caught it. The last time that I was in the school and convent was when it was all in flames, helping take out the pianos and the tables. These are only old memories now. And I remember cleaning the tables. We just upset the tables and the plates went there and we pulled the tables through the windows. And the pianos, they came down as fast as we could come down the stairs there, and there were pretty long stairs there. The new school and convent replacing the old one, and the letting go of everything you had in Bruxelles. But God's ways are not our ways. So I wish to thank the Ursuline Sisters from the bottom of my heart for all what they have done for us, and wish you all the success you hope for in the future. Best wishes and a very happy 75th Jubilee. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Hubert. I think you should keep that for our history book if we put one out. Talking about the good old days, Dad always used to say there's only one good thing about the good old days, he says. That was when we were young. Okay, our third speaker on the going down the years, over the years. I'd like to call on Margaret Thompson, which was née de Pat. You have lots of sisters that have née de Pat. And she, I believe, was one of the students who had the first graduation here, grade 12. She was among the first students to be graduating to grade 12 here in St. Marie's School. So I'm sure you have lots to tell us. Welcome, Margaret, come on up. This is about 1935, 36.
Oh, this is so overwhelming. Good afternoon, everybody. I haven't been able to say personal hello to you, but I hope to later on. Dear sisters, former teachers, fellow students, students who came after me, brothers and sisters, cousins, everybody. I hope you're just as happy as I am to be here. I can't go back the way Hubert did, although I do remember all those things you said, Hubert, and then some. I would like to confine my remarks mainly to the years 35 and 36, because that was the year when we grade 12s were very privileged to study by ourselves. And we managed to graduate from grade 12 that year too, in spite of all the mischief we did and all the little scandals we got into. However, we did some good things too, I guess. I would like you to remember with me Sister Denise Morrow. Sister, would you stand up, because she was my fellow mate in the mischief that we performed. We were 3 girls and 1 boy, and that 1 boy, I hope, is here. Raymond Lecoq, our dear friend. Are you here, Raymond? And if so, let's see you. Is Raymond here? Raymond was so shy, and every time we looked, we were shy too, but we were mischievous. Every time we looked at Raymond, he'd put his head down. And I know for a fact that Sister Marcella, then Denise Morrow, she and Margaret Killoran, who was the other girl, Sister Angela's niece from New York, they would write notes and put them in Raymond's desk and sign my name. I don't know if they said that I loved him, I liked him, that's true, but I don't know about that. But I'll find out from Sister anyway. Now, we spent some time studying, of course, and for the first half of the year we were up in the upper class, and we spent a lot of time on Sunday looking down at the villagers. And that's how Sister Marcella got to know all the gentlemen of the town. I wasn't as bothered as she was, but she did. And after a while, we were relegated to what is called the cold class, where we froze, but we had to study so as not to freeze. And they were good days. We had a Miss Andre who tutored us. Many thanks to her. I think she has gone to her eternal reward. And then, amongst the studies of English and physics and all the rest that we had to learn, the sisters certainly kept us busy with Bible studies and catechism and prayers, of course, and many worship services. We were all involved in that many, many times. And of course, we didn't appreciate having to go to chapel all the time, but I have learned to appreciate it since. And I'm glad I did learn all my prayers and how to go to church and how to really appreciate my faith. The sisters really instilled in us good Christian attitudes, which has, I hope, stood in good stead for our later life. Anyway, I know that the 4 of us, including Sister Marcella, didn't create any headlines, newspaper headlines, and we were never sent to jail. So I guess we made it. But from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of all of us who graduated that year, and the students who were in school that year, they're too numerous to mention, and as I said, I hope to meet all of you and reminisce some more. On behalf of my brothers and sisters too, and all of us who were influenced and encouraged and inspired by your good help and talent, sisters, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and we all wish you the best in the future.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Margaret kind of nudged me before we had our speeches here this afternoon. She says, be sure you come up and help me out. Lord, if I could speak like that from the heart, I'd be glad to throw this paper here away. Thank you very much. Now we're moving ahead to about 1945 or so, give or take a few years. Most of you will know him as Muskie. For those of you who do not know him as Muskie, I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 in the crowd, possibly, I don't know. Marcel Lanouette, okay? He was in school here roughly in the 1945 area sometime, and Certainly his family was one of the families that the sisters could count on. They told me that personally here, that's one family that we could always count on, the Lanowets. So here's Marcel to give us a few reminiscing of his own.
Won't be too much, but a few words. Danielle, sisters, and friends, and all guests, I have been honored to bring greetings from my classmates from the years roughly 1939 to 1950, I believe, if that's right. I remember starting school, there was Armin Godard, Marcel Bogert, there was Hacko family, Simmons, Manchins, Vicles, and Conrads used to come to school, and Lilies, and many, many more that I could keep on naming them, because throughout the years with all the students that came to school, you got to know very, very many people. And all the sisters were teachers, most of them were my teachers at one time or other, and I certainly am sure I wasn't the easiest one to teach. I know that. Because I used to be quite mischievous in my ways, I guess. And then there was Sister Martha. She used to keep my chocolate pudding in the fridge. After I do the fires, I would go in and get my treat. Sister Gerarda was very good too for the kitchen, for my treats. And we had many hours spent in wintertime skating. We had a toboggan slide here, we used to be on the toboggan slide. And summertime, our baseball games, and also our field days, which we used to enjoy. And there were many, many other good times, and I guess the odd bad time too. And to close, in our closings, we class our hotels in, say, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. But if I was to class the school, we'd give it a 6-star. And when we raised our children, Bernice and I, there was many a time I would say I wish the convent was across the street. Because that was the best education a person could ever have. And thank you very much, sisters, and all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marcel Muskie. I never did know how he got that name. Did anybody? Can somebody come up here and tell us how Muskie got his nickname? Come on up.
I know how he got his name. He used to have muskrats. And then one time I was in the basement doing some work, and Muskie said, "Here's my muskrat." And I thought a muskrat's nice and soft. I had a skinny, sticky thing on my hand. And I said, "It's a muskrat." And the kids heard it, and it became Muskie.
Thanks a lot. Now we all know. Okay, moving on. Now we're somewhere a little in the early 50s and mid-50s. I'd like to call on Evelyn Balthasson, who is née Simmons. And she, of course, very, very involved person, very involved in everything that she does. And she agreed to come and speak to us here today of her experiences here. And she was at school here in grade 12 at the time of the fire, so I'm sure she'll bring up some memories of that. Come on, Evelyn.
Dear sisters and dear people, I am honored to have the opportunity to speak today. For me, as for many of you, the Ursuline community is family. The sisters are a part of us, interwoven into the experiences of our school days and remembered and treasured in our memories today and always. Do you remember the long hallway that ran alongside the chapel? There were huge windows at either end. Sunshine poured in through the sparkling glass. Blooming oleanders surrounded statues of Our Lady and of the Sacred Heart. An oasis of calm and tranquility, just a few feet away from the classroom doors through which hundreds of children passed over the years. Another stairway climbed to the dormitory. How many little heads lay down to rest in those rows of beds? Remember the narrow stairways of the older part of the convent? And how quietly and sedately you climbed those stairs when you thought you were being watched. Remember almost reaching the top, coming face to face with a sister, and having to go all the way back down again because sister had the right of way. Remember vespers, when the high, clear voices of the sisters would sound from different parts of the convent, and then congregate in the hallway near the chapel and disappear inside. Remember the stone retaining wall and the circular bench around the tree, where we would gather for lunch with our recycled syrup pails as lunch kits? Remember the smell of the lilacs in bloom. Remember Brescia, the sisters' home after the fire. Remember finishing school in a village house, in an upstairs bedroom, and locking each other in the closet with a few precious books we had? The fire of May 4th, 1954, destroyed the Ursuline Convent, St. Mary's School. But the memories we share of the sisters and our school days will be cherished forever. Ursuline Sisters of Tildunk, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. Can somebody tell us there might be a few people here who don't know I don't know for sure, the history behind the name Brescia. Sister Mary? Just for a note here, she mentioned Brescia, and I still call that house Brescia. But
Brescia is the little town in Italy where our congregation was founded by Angela Merici in 1535. And so Brescia means very much to us, and many of our homes are named after it. So that was the little home after the fire. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you very much. That house, by the way, is still there. It's that brown house at the corner there, right near the store. It's vacant right now. Okay, moving on, we're moving to about 1956 or so. And we have amongst us one of our former students and prisoner. And we have Doreen Demery, which was née cousin. Most of you will know her as Doreen Cousin. And she has this little note here that the sisters gave me. It says she benefited fully from Mère Thérèse's lessons in French. Welcome back to Bruxelles.
Good afternoon, Reverend Sisters, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to have the opportunity to bring you greetings from the graduate class of 1957. Dear teachers, each of those graduates would wish to be here today. And if you recall them, there was Marie Simmons, Yvonne Hacko, Maureen DeRoe, Nancy Wilson, Marcel Bertoul, and myself, Doreen Cousin. Now, if you listen to that list of names, you notice they were all girls and just one guy. Was he in trouble, but did he love it? I can recall one occasion that he caused us to be the first vandalists of the new school. We were outside doing pin curls, and if you remember in those days, curled your hair up and used bobby pins, and you moistened each parcel of hair, and it took forever to do. Well, a few of the girls and I were doing one another's hair, and that day it happened to be Nancy Wilson and myself, and of course Marcel, as usual, had nothing too much to do, and he was up to no good, and he'd tease us and so on and so forth. Finally, we got fed up, and we chased him into the school, and we were carrying our water, and we were determined to douse him. And we ran up and down the halls, and the poor nuns were trying to stop us, but there was no stopping us at that point. We had him in run. We finally cornered him in Sister Victorine's classroom. Well, poor Sister Victorine, I don't think she's ever recovered to this day. I was supposed to be a model student, a perfect record, and I smashed it but good that day. Together, Nancy and I took our water. We had Marcel cornered, and we threw, and here's poor Sister saying, don't, but she had no time to say why. She was running with her skirts half in the air to try and block the water off the wall. What we didn't know is that these walls bleached when they were hit with water. We then had a two-tone colored wall, and the whole room had to be repainted, thanks to Marcel, right? And don't let him tell you otherwise, those of you who know him. Anyhow, we would all like, if we were here, to express our gratitude for the hard work and tireless effort that you invested in us as students. Our parents who entrusted us to your care would also all wish to be here to thank you. And I'm sure that their prayerful and moral support has been with us since our graduation day. Now, my first realization that there was such a thing as a convent, St. Marie Convent here in Bruxelles, came one day in 1954 when I was a grade 9 student at Oak Hill School. My friends and I observed that day a black cloud of smoke to the southwest over the hills towards Bruxelles. Little did I know that day that from those ashes would rise the convent of St. Marie, and a larger and new school that would be instrumental in shaping my education and my future and that of many other children. The young people entrusted to the care of the sisters came with a wide range of personalities, abilities, and activities. However, these teachers imparted their knowledge with care, commitment, courage, and creativity. Encouraged us by their example and their Christian way of life. They encouraged us to assume responsibilities and use our own good judgment. Yes, sisters, you deeply affected our professional and personal lives. We were very privileged students, and we all look back to our days at St. Marie with pleasure and fond memories. Now, I happen to have brought along a few very simple gifts for the Ursulines today to commemorate their 75th anniversary. Danielle, if you don't mind, there's a red ribbon card I'd like you to pull out there. I imagine most of you are very familiar with what a Red River ox cart looks like, but I thought it would be quite apropos. The province of Manitoba owes much to this cart that Danielle will show you. It's part of our very colorful history. It was the adaptation of the pioneer days, and it was a conveyance that fit all conditions of the Canadian frontier. And to me, in a sense, this epitomizes the pioneer spirit of the Ursuline nuns when they migrated to Bruxelles years ago and became a vital part of this community. I would also like to present the elementary school that is left here with a book on Winnipeg, which I hope will be a valued addition to the library that must still exist. I believe that the students should know that the capital of Manitoba has many great things going, such as Folklorama and the Festival du Voyage, and there's a lot of nice, colorful pictures in it. Good numbers of the sisters either retire or work, as it turns out, from a river road home, which is situated in my city ward of St. Valley, soon to be renamed Riel House. So as their city councillor, I got one up on them right now. I would like to offer them a dozen City of Winnipeg teaspoons for their River Road home. in commemoration of their 75th anniversary. Our congratulations, nos sincères félicitations. Merci.
Thank you very much, Doreen. I failed to mention, Doreen, as I was introducing her, that she is a counselor in Winnipeg. Congratulations for that. We have some students in all kinds, all fields of endeavors, as you can see. Now we're moving just, not very, very much, just a little bit more in the 50s, late 50s. I'd like to call on Marie Poutot. Most of you who were in school will have known her as Marie de Rick. She was a student, of course, at St. Marie, and she was also a teacher at St. Marie. So is Marie here? Oh yes, she is. Welcome, Marie, back to your old stomping grounds.
Love and thoughtful service in our midst. I can remember a lot of things that have been said before me that I'm not going to repeat. I guess one thing I really remember is the fire. We were just there, grade 6, 7. And Sister Regina warned us to get out of here. And she stuck her head out the door and says, "Is this really true?" So we all nicely marched out. And we thought, well, this is it for the year. But no, next week, Monday, what do you know, we were back here all in the hall. I think we were something like with 10 in our grade. We were whittled down to 3 in our grade 6 class at the time. And we were the last class. The hall was divided in 3. And we were the last class at the end, and the high school was up on Marion Hill there. Then in next September, we were still here as the new school wasn't ready. And Marion Hill got a little cold towards winter, so everybody moved in here from 1 to 12. We were in grade 6, 7, and 8 at the time. We were in grade 7. And we were the lucky ones that got the dressing room downstairs. We had a Boker stove down there, warm as toast, and everybody up here was shaking. They were cold, but we were fortunate. Then in December, right after Christmas, we had an extended holiday, and we were able to move into the new school where everything was honky-dory, brand new, and it was really nice. It was Sister Patricia that had us downstairs in the basement, right? And then we moved with Sister Patricia into the biggest room in the north side of the school. These are some great memories. Then by the time we got to grade 12, we had run those hallways, we had got caught. We had a chapel right close to our high school room, and we graduated with 12 grade 12 girls. Your 75-year sisters of dedicated labor in the education field have spread far and wide. You never considered a task too great in improving our mental, moral, physical, and spiritual well-being of all your pupils in your schools. You have instilled in us, your students, a great sense of responsibility. You have opened up our minds to explore many new horizons and to accept the challenges of this changing society. Now we, as parents, teachers, leaders of youth groups, have a deeper insight and responsibility towards the development of our own children. I have had the good fortune of being one of your students you have nurtured for 12 years. I was also given the opportunity to teach with you and to implement in my students the values that you had developed in me. It was during these years that I was teaching with you that we had the great loss of our high school. In 1960, June of 62 was our last graduating year. Then our elementary was the only to be left in Bruxelles, with the high school moving to Mariampus. That year, in September, our classes were divided into 2 grades per classroom rather than 3. These years, with their memories, have become more precious as time goes by. I would also like to thank you, dear sisters, for the love and support and prayers that you have given us when there were especially difficult times in our lives. The deep sense of faith that you have instilled in us has helped us to understand that God does not close doors without opening windows. It is therefore with a deep sense of gratitude and real sincerity that we acknowledge your 75 years of dedication, love, and service that you have given your students, your parish, and your communities. Therefore, we would like to thank you very, very much
And may God bless each and every one of you in a very special way.
Thank you very much, Marie. Just to go back to the last speaker, to Doreen, when she came up with this Red River card here yesterday at the convention, when we had several speakers, Jake Epp was there from the federal government and so on, and the federal representative came up with this gift for Bishop Hacko, and it was a great big Red River card, you know, a bigger one than this. And then there was a counselor who also presented a gift and opens it up. Oh, I think it was this size. And then finally, of course, they were wondering what the next gift was going to be. They said, well, it can't get too much smaller. It was kind of interesting. As soon as I saw it, it kind of reminded me of yesterday. De Vos, at that time, graduated. So I'd like to call in Agnes now to come up and say a few words, or maybe on my behalf and on behalf of our graduating class. Welcome.
Reverend sisters, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Daniel hasn't really changed. When we knew him in school, when at experimental time, he was doing the experiments, the rest of us were fooling around. When he had it all set up, we were there to know what was going on. And he's still that way. He has everything well organized, and then we take advantage of it. Like many others here today, the Ursuline Sisters played an important role in my life. They were my teachers, co-workers, and then teachers of our children. The Ursulines helped lay the foundation for many of our futures. Not only did we receive an A1 education in academic and religious training, but we had many other golden opportunities had we only known it at the time. Well, do we remember opening our mouths as little as possible in Sister Benedict's singing class, or taking advantage of Sister Ignatius' art class to catch up with the latest gossip when she had her back turned to us? We often thought Mother Aloysius was really out to get us, when really all she was doing was keeping discipline and teaching us to respect authority. Sister Apolline's occasional little stare, we realize now, was just a reminder, grow up and smarten up. We thought we knew it all when we were in grade 12, eh, sister? Little did we know what lay ahead, all the choices and all the trials. I'm sure we all look back at the days at St. Marie with a little joy and a little sadness. We had many memorable times there. One thing especially stands out in my mind was the grade 12's big graduation concert. We took part in the big play of Cinderella. I'm sure most of us remember that. I know I do, because a few days before the play, when I was supposed to be the stepmother, I happened to get hurt and had a big blue spot on my face. Well, when I came to school, poor Mother Aloysius had a fit. She said, how are you going to play stepmother? So, what she did, she sent me to Sister Ignatius, who painted that side of my face up so often that finally it was blue and sore just like the other one. Many of us thought that the sisters were superhuman when we were students. We didn't understand why they were a little moody at times. As a co-worker, I realized more and more why. As a parent on the Parent Advisory Board, mostly with Sister Joan as principal, I realized it even more. The building itself was a constant challenge to maintain. The staff was their responsibility. The students' education, religious and academic, extracurricular activities, and behavior became more and more of a task. I think you enjoyed being part of our community, and you always gave everything the best shot you had. We regret that you be leaving us. You've left many a mark on us, and we are just a little richer for it. And we wish you all the best wherever you go. And this is greetings from our graduating class. And I think there's one of our fellow graduates, Danielle, who came from very far today, Barbara Zavada, I think over there.
Thank you very much, Agnes. Believe it or not, I do have very, very fond memories of my classmates. There were only two boys. There was only Michelle Hacko and myself, I think, who graduated that year. But all in all, I don't know if what you said is true beginning to like this, but anyway. Now we're moving to approximately, I think, 1968. Very fittingly, we have a speaker who's been a student at St. Marie's School, and now she is presently principal of St. Marie's School. We're not talking of Sister Joan. We're talking about Annette Young, which was at that time Annette Pite. So Annette, are you here? Oh, right there, right in front. Sorry, I didn't see you. Welcome, and say a few words on behalf, possibly, of the teachers that are here today, and etc.
Good afternoon, everyone, dear sisters. I seem to have come to Bruxelles in times of transition. The first time was in 1962 or thereabouts, when the high school no longer was here, and the borders that the sisters had was reduced to a mere fraction of what they had been. So I was one of the older ones there, not quite the oldest one. The high school in Minneapolis, where I began my last years of school, closed in 1967, and from there on we went to Notre Dame de Lourdes, where I graduated in 1968. So another change had to be made. That year also marked the last year when the sisters took in boarders, and that marked the end of an era for them. In the 20 years which intervened before I was again to come to Bruxelles on a regular basis, I would occasionally meet one or two of the sisters. It was always good to see them and talk with them. They have always been kind and very encouraging about whatever my undertakings were at that time. Often meeting them seemed propitious, as their words seemed to make just the difference. Perhaps they sensed the need for encouragement or direction. Last May, when I was driving to Bruxelles to visit with Sister Joan, I recalled many fond memories from the school. I remember the long hallways, and they seemed very, very dark at night when the only thing you could see was the exit light. We'd go upstairs at 11 o'clock at night after studying, and we had to feel our way along the walls just to make sure we didn't run into anything or found the end of the hallway. I remember glorious sunrises in the spring while walking to church around 7 o'clock in the morning. I remember sitting under the trees in the springtime talking with the sisters or with other friends. I also remembered the fun we had playing baseball in the field down below, and how much fairer everything seemed when Father Derouk would come to umpire our games. I didn't notice too many changes in the convent itself or in the town. It was still here, pleasantly nestled among the hills. But what struck me the most was those trees. They had really grown, and I guess that marked the passage of time for me as much as anything else. Personally, I would like to thank the sisters for the direction they have given me as a student in their classrooms, as a boarder in the convent, and most recently as a teacher at St. Marie. I'm sure that they've thought and prayed for us throughout the course of the year, and I know that I have very large shoes to fill, and I hope that I will grow to fill them adequately. The students who are currently enrolled in the school at St. Marie would also like to add their thank you to the sisters for their years of dedication and for teaching them. And they also added a few memories to mine. Thank you very much, and thank you, sisters.
time for the mural as it's used. I'm sure there are lots of little details on there you might like to read. This might be inappropriately displayed here possibly after. Good. See all kind of little personal notes there, I think, on the mural. Thank you very much, Annette. We're getting close to the end. I have to apologize. It's not my fault, I guess, but for all the people who are standing there, it's kind of a long program to be standing for. I guess maybe we didn't expect quite as many people as showed up. We're glad the hall is just jam-packed. It's marvelous to see you all here. Down our memory lane, we're coming to 1970 now, 73, somewhere in that neighborhood. We have a member of our parish. He's been a student at St. Marie here. He's a member of our parish. He's also now presently the chairman of the administration apostolate, what we normally used to call the trustees. So I'd like to call on Michael Levins to say a few words on behalf of the administration board here. And also, I think there's a little presentation which he wants to make. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Daniel. Dear sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be able to stand here today and say greetings to the sisters. For 75 years, we have been blessed with their presence in our community. For 75 years, young people have grown up under the devoted and dedicated teaching of the sisters who have helped to mold and shape the students to become better Christians. It has often been mentioned in the past that in this parish there is a high attendance of young people in Mass, and I feel that that comes as a direct result from the influence that the sisters have on the community. You cannot have a group of people who are as devoted and dedicated to the needs of people as what the sisters are and not have it affect you. Through good times and through bad, the sisters were there. They shared in our laughter and they shared in our tears. I was very fortunate to start school back in 1960 under the care of the Ursulines. All through my school years and up into high school, the sisters played a major role in my upbringing. But an era is coming to an end. We know that the sisters will soon be leaving our area. The old cliche that nothing lasts forever holds true. Our loss will be someone else's gain. I know, dear sisters, that whatever the future holds for you, that you will face it with the same conviction and courage that withheld you in past trials. Though you will not always be present with us, you will always be in our minds and in our hearts. We are richer in faith for having known you. Dear sisters, there is no way which we can adequately express our gratitude for all you have done for us. All we can do is say thank you. And in doing so, on behalf of all the parishioners of St. Gerard's, most of whom are former students of St. Marie, I would like to present you with a videotape which documents the history of the Ursulines in this area. A special thank you should go to Eric Covernell, who arranged and recorded this tape, and to Emily Hillhorse, who is very instrumental in getting this project off the ground. Congratulations, dear sisters, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. When this project was first thought of, we had thought maybe of playing it during the day, but it was discounted a little later on because it would interfere, I think, with just too much visiting to do. So if you want to see the video, you'll have to maybe say hello to the sisters one day, and they'll give you a chance to have a look at it. So here's an opportunity for you to visit with them. I'm sure their doors are always open. Okay, now we'd like to finish off the little afternoon with a couple of more speakers. One is our Reeve, our Lauren Searns. Are you in the crowd, or is he gone? Lauren, on behalf of the municipality of Lauren, we'd like to call you up here and just say a few words.
Reverend Mother Mary, dear sisters, and some of you are personal friends. And right now I'm going to talk about one personal friend who is a sister. She was a classmate of mine way back in a little country school we called St. Albert. We could only take 9 grades there, and sister, she was then Delphine Allard, Sister Julienne. She is here today, I've already seen her. Some young farm boy missed having a good wife, but then what a blessing for the sisters to have so good a girl in their organization. It does bring me a great deal of pleasure as the Reeve of the municipality of Lorne to bring greetings. And incidentally, something that is worth noting, since 1944, the Reeve of the municipality of Lorne has always been from Bruxelles. It started with Jean-Louis Hacot in 1944, Adrien Doyon in 1972, and myself in 1983. So for 45 years now we have had a Reeve from the parish of Bruxelles. We are receiving a small lesson in history, something that hasn't been mentioned here today, and I think it's worth noting. I did a little research myself before I came today. 75 years in the history of our little district, which is barely 100 years old, is a long time. But if we look at the history of Canada, this article that I saw said that the first sisters arrived on the shores of Quebec in 1639. They were Ursulines. Also, the first sisters to arrive in what is now the United States, New Orleans, was in 1927. Pardon me, 1727. They too were Ursulines. So the Ursulines have been very famous in going to new developments, new areas in the world, and going to take their teachings to all of the young people. Congratulations for that, sister. Certainly, the municipality of Lorne has been blessed to have had people such as you who offered as good a quality of education that cannot be equaled. I'm not going to say matched, it cannot be equaled anywhere. I was speaking to someone early this afternoon, and he agreed with me. He said, if they learned nothing else but discipline, and discipline is something that the sisters always taught, and if nothing else was learned by the students, that discipline was very, very well received and very, very worthwhile. Certainly having the sisters here in our community has touched the lives of all of us, not only the students that went to school here, but certainly has touched the lives of all of us by the artistic things that you brought to us, the music, the paintings, and whatever else. For that, we thank you very sincerely. From the very bottom of my heart, I want to wish you well in your new endeavors, whatever they may happen to be, and may I assure you our prayers will always be with you. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Lauren. He's kind of giving us a hint here that last 45 years have been from our parish. Well, somebody else, I guess, has to follow in his footsteps pretty soon. Just kidding, Lauren. Okay, our last speaker this afternoon, and certainly not least, he was our first speaker at church this morning. Father Janot, I'd like to call you up to round out all the things that have been said, hopefully, this afternoon.
You'll notice that Daniel, every time he introduces a speaker, he says a few words. But to me, he didn't say a few words because he knows I'll be long. No, I won't be. First of all, as I was talking to various people, I met a couple who had come in from Saskatchewan just to show their appreciation, their gratitude. And then I met another lady, she told me I could say her name, Anita, formerly from Manitou, who graduated here. She was in the convent from 1959 to 61, and she says, the best years of my life.
I think that expresses our feeling this afternoon of gratitude. And how do you express this in a concrete way? So some of us got together and we felt that what we should offer to sisters is probably the gift that they would appreciate the most, a spiritual bouquet. Probably many of you are not aware of what a spiritual bouquet is. It's simply a gift of prayer that you offer for the sisters. And it could be a rosary, it could be mass intention, it can be novena, it can be scripture reading. So what we invite you to do today, you'll see what we have here. It's Ursuline Sisters' 75th anniversary, in gratitude, a spiritual bouquet. On the table to your left, there are sheets, and what you simply do is sign your name and the prayers you are willing to offer as a gift in gratitude. And we know that the sisters don't want any material gift, but they certainly will accept our prayers. So we invite you as you leave today to sign your name and express your prayers as a gift of gratitude. And this, at the end of the day, we'll be gathered together and we'll hand this to the sisters. We've heard this throughout the afternoon, greetings and gratitude expressed from students, co-workers, and friends. I would like to bring you gratitude and our appreciation from the clergy of the diocese. It's amazing how many people have come through St. Gerard, St. Marie School, and now are gone, are elsewhere in other parishes. And the fruit of your work here are like seed that have gone all over the country. And that's why I would like to simply say, on behalf of the students who today are members of the clergy, His Grace Bishop Antoine Hacot, Father Firmin Michaels, and is that it? I think the two, or are there more? But anyway, from all the clergy, all over, who have the blessings of your students in their parishes, we would like to bring you our sincere congratulations and our greetings on this occasion of your 75th anniversary. But more, we are, as priests, co-workers with you in the kingdom of God. And therefore, all the clergy of the diocese, of the two dioceses, Winnipeg and St. Boniface, basically inherit the richness you have left in your students. So once again, from the clergy, we thank you. So therefore, we see that we are your students, we are your co-workers, but we are also your friends. The bond, the unity in Christ that you have left us, and we all work for the same goal. So to you, we say thank you from all the clergy, all the priests of the Archdiocese of Winnipeg, St. Boniface, or wherever your students may be. Your main contribution has been education. The youth of today are the church of tomorrow. We, the clergy, are reaping today the church you made yesterday.
Thank you very much, Father, for those kind words. I believe that it's getting close to the end right now, but I think we have one more very, very important response to all of this. This gives us the totality of our expression of love, our expression of tribute, and so on. Now we'd like to call on Sister Apolline, who will be responding on behalf of the sisters to our comments. Most of the former students would know her as Sister Victorine. Sometimes I still call her Sister Victorine by mistake. Well, it's not really a mistake.
Dear friends and co-workers, what a joy it is for us, the Ursuline Sisters, to welcome you here today, to see so many return once again to Bruxelles, to to express your loyalty to your school acquaintances. C'est avec grande joie et reconnaissance que nous, les religieuses Ursulines, nous vous accueillons ici cet après-midi. In the name of all our Ursuline sisters, we thank you, each and every one, for coming to share our gratitude to the Lord. Thank you to each one who so graciously presented greetings and good wishes. Thank you, Danielle, our MC, for all your dedication, even shortening your Night of Columbus meeting to be with us this afternoon. No doubt you have reminisced or will be reliving intense emotional moments and events of your sojourn at Sainte Marie, Bruxelles. For all the happy memories we sing, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. I personally have many, many happy memories. For less happy memories, we ask the Lord's healing and your forgiveness. For 75 years, the Ursulines have journeyed with you in prayer and effort, witnessing to the risen Lord. We continue to do so. May the good Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord let his face shine on you and be gracious to you. Thank you, everyone. And maybe a little reminder here. To those who have just come in later, please do not forget to sign the guest book. And also, you might wish to browse around and see your name on the list of students. If your name has been forgotten, please let us know. Thank you, everyone.
Let's all stand in tribute of her sisters. So right now, I guess we'd like to stretch our legs again. I'm sure there's hours of visiting, a few hours yet left of visiting to do. If the chairs, I don't know how to go about the chairs here. If you might want to move them, or if you want to leave them there, or put them in a circle, or stack a few. Thank you very much for your attention.